Well, Gable, could you take us through your decision to come back? What all went into it, and what your plans are for now and in the future?
Oh, just an easy decision. I've been in Minnesota my whole life. Ever since I was 11 years old, I started in Apple Valley, Minnesota. Not a hard one to come back. Probably the greatest place on earth you could be. And I'm honored to wrestle with this guy next to me. We've been at it for a long time. Too long, maybe. And just having those guys look out for me while I was in the WWE and NFL and even wrestling here with RTC over that course of time period too is an honor. So I'm happy to be back.
Gable, I hope you understand that a lot of people have questions. Maybe just not the fact that you came back to do this, but like what happened with the WWE, what happened in Buffalo, and that type of thing. Can you fill in those blanks at all?
Yeah, I think the WWE just wasn't the right time. I had a lot of competitive edge in me, and they knew that, and it was not the time for it. And so maybe one day if the stars aligned, it'll be a great opportunity to do it again. I have no bad feelings with it. I have no bad blood with it. And I would like to keep moving forward with everything I have going on. And the NFL situation, definitely a great thing to do. A lot of people know I never played football before. So Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane of Buffalo Bills reached out and was like, hey, do you want to come try? We'll give you the best chance. And so they did. And I got a few tackles in a couple games and a few QB hits. Had a few other teams reach out to me previously before coming back to here. So maybe after the season, it's another opportunity to get a futures deal with the team or go on from there.
Well, obviously, you've done a lot on the wrestling mat. Between Olympic gold, NCAA championships, Hod Trophy, all that stuff. Other than winning championships, is there something else that we don't know that you really needed to come back to do this?
No, the year was there. We tried it last year. It just wasn't the best time, especially just with the training situation. I feel like I didn't have enough to put out a good product, and I feel now with the time that we had built up, we definitely had a good product to put out, and I'm excited for people to see the new, older version of me. And, I mean, I might be close to one of the oldest guys in NCAA, but it's all right.
What's your goals?
My goals for this year? Man, my goals have always been to just be as dominant as possible, and especially this year, I just want to go out there and put out a good product once again, but also to show that you can do anything. In the meantime, if you're just sitting down, you can do anything that you want and come back to what you love and put out a good product in any way you can. And so my goal has always been what the fans have liked, and the Minnesota fans like seeing Gable wrestle, so you got the year left. Why not do it again?
In your time with the WWE and NFL, have you been able to carry over anything you've learned from there to here?
Yes, a lot of things. Just keep being yourself and keep being the person that you always wanted to be. Time in business doesn't stop for anybody, and so business is going to move on. Time is going to keep moving. So me being so young, I'm grateful that I had opportunities to be in those spots, but you just got to keep moving forward. And if things go wrong and things go right, time's always going to keep moving, and Father Time always wins. So you just gotta make the best of your life.
Do you look at the Olympics as another chance in the future?
Yes, I would love to go to LA 2028. I think that'd be really good, especially with it being in America. Having America's best show up and win at the highest level is definitely one of a kind.
When did you know that this was the right move for you, and what was that conversation like with Coach? Was it phone call, in-office visit? Just what was that whole moment like?
So I've been here ever since I left. So I continuously came in, and so it was just a waiting time of when can we possibly get it done. And after Buffalo happened, I did a few tryouts with the Colts, Ravens, and I was supposed to go to the New Orleans Saints also. But we sat down right after Buffalo, what was it, maybe August, and he was just like, you have the year left. You have an Olympic red shirt left. If you want to use it, you can use it. And so I think right then and there it was kind of just like the team hasn't taken me yet. Maybe I should go back and restart and get in front of the home crowd again and get that itch to be who I was once again.
Gable, you understand college athletics have changed so much. Obviously, the financial ends. There's a lot of people are old timers who don't quite understand how this works. What do you tell those people to justify why you're doing this?
Are you an old timer? I think the best thing is college sports have changed so much, especially the last year. My senior year was the first year NIL came alive. And I did WWE NIL, which was a great thing, and it was a big time deal, especially for them and for myself. But I think what people have to realize is the landscape has changed, and things are going to always keep changing. And you got guys like Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter and Cameron Ward of Miami making a lot of money to come and be a collegiate athlete. And so it's a great opportunity. I'm for it, and maybe the older crowd is not, just because you come to college to get a degree, which I gratefully have 2 when I graduate in 2022. But the landscape has changed. Some people show up for dollars. Some people show up for legacy, and I'm here for legacy. And you show up for legacy, and everything else will come.
Wrestling skills, obviously, it's been a long time since you've been on an amateur mat. How are you as a type of wrestler now compared to then? And what kind of Gable Steveson will we see?
I think it's definitely a lot better. I mean, you want to partake?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's not just the best in the country, but the best in the world. I think everybody's watched him wrestle, and so we get a chance. He's still been coming in the room. He's still competing with our guys. He's just more mature and stuff. And with that, especially just in men in general, you see physically he's continued to mature. He's gotten stronger. The competitive part of him, it's insane. Like I've never seen anybody like him before. He's a really easy guy to corner because he's so lighthearted, easygoing, joking. So he's very easy to be in his corner. But when it's time to come out and compete, I've never seen anybody like him. He gets up for the challenge. He's excited. He lives for that moment to be under the lights. So, yeah, he's just a more mature individual. He's stronger physically. I watch him in the room when he comes in and competes against some amazing heavyweights that we have here. And, yeah, he's ready to go.
Gable, the reigning NCAA heavyweight champion, Greg Kirkley from Sibley. You obviously know him from going way back. What's your thoughts on potentially getting to face him this year? I guess it'd be the first time to be Big Ten, so you don't have him to dual meet. But
I think always wrestling Greg is a great competition. He's the reigning NCAA champion. He's the number 1 guy in the weight class, and it's always an honor and head-to-head battle to go against him. And when that time comes, that time will come.
In the time that you've been back, have you done any work with Dan Chandler and the Minnesota Storm yet?
No, I have not. I only do my work with these guys right here. Dan does come in and always shows a lot of love, and we show a lot of love to him. But I've never been a part of the Greco scene, only the freestyle scene. But those guys got a lot going on too with Pat Smith and a few other good guys that got down there at the Minnesota Storm Greco team. It's just Dan's gonna do Dan things, and I just was never a Greco guy, but he's always lovely.
Coach, Gable said, dominance is his main priority. As a coach, wanting to, continue to get better every day, how do you kind of see dominance as how he is going to go this year? As far as what's your definition of his dominance?
Well, I guess first off, we have an amazing team this year. With Gable coming back now, we'll have 6 guys ranked in top 8 in the country, and then a few other guys in the top 15. So that's a really, really solid team. To have a guy like Gable come in, he's going to elevate these guys to another level. So we're really excited, not just on the mat, but off the mat. His leadership ability, his skills, just be able to talk with the guys in the team and kind of help bridge some of the young guys and some of the older guys. Morale's going to be up. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. He's going to score a lot of points in duels. He's going to score a lot of points in the tournaments. He's going to bring a lot of crowd attendance. So we want to see the fans come to the duels here, support these guys. I mean, that's one of the things. He's showing his love to the state of Minnesota and the University of Minnesota. I hope people will come back and just give that love back to him and make that environment awesome for these young guys. We want people to continue to want to be at the University of Minnesota and wrestle for this program, and so it helps with recruiting, helps with all those things. So we're just excited to get him on the mat.
Gable, can you tell who else has helped you with this process? I know your brother Bobby has always been close to you. Him, any other athletes, Jordan Burroughs, anybody else to help you make this transition back?
Just besides these guys right here, that my family definitely helped me put me in the right spot. My dad loves wrestling a lot, and he wanted to see me back last year, and he was just like, if you got the time to do it, just finish it off in the best way you can, and walk off that NCAA finals match with that title once again. And so that's what I want to do. I want to win the Dan Hodge Trophy. It's stuff I've done before, and I can do it again. And is it harder to repeat it? Of course, but I've done it once. I can do it twice, but I'll do it 3 times.
Excuse me, as I recall, Bobby retrieved your shoes.
He did,
when you
yes.
retired them at the NCAAs. Do you know where they are?
My mom has them in the house. They're still sitting, but you get a new pair and lace them up right away.
You said when the time comes, the time will come. Do you have a timeline on when you might have your first opportunity to hit the mat?
I think Sunday. I'm already ready to go. I was ready to go last week, but this week I'm even more ready. And then next week I'll be more ready. And then when March comes, I'll be the most readiest man on earth with the most greatest performance you guys ever see. So I've always wanted to do it for you guys and the casual viewer at home and the diehard fans that show up every Sunday and Friday to watch us wrestle at 1 p.m. And so if people can show up Sunday at 1 p.m. and we wrestle Bucknell and I can go out there and put it in dominating fashion and show the wrestling world who I am again, that'll be the best.
What do you think that emotion will be? I mean, you've been at the largest stage. Will you be nervous? Will you be excited? What do you think?
Definitely excited. I've never really been one to get nervous before a wrestling match. It's just more anxious and excitement just to say, I've already showed up and sat at a building for 2 hours. Like, can I go out on the mat yet? And so that's always been the hardest thing. And I think Sunday, just put on a flawless performance and show the world who Gable Steveson is, because I know who he is.
Gable, was it difficult this year, not being in the Olympics when it was in Paris? And it didn't work out for you,
Yeah.
WWE-wise, to be there.
It was it did hurt a little bit. It did sting. I mean, I would have loved to went to Paris, but just we didn't have the right amount of time to do it and to get to the trials and actually, like I talked about earlier, putting out a good product for not myself, because it's not really about winning to me. It's more about I want people to see just domination. And you can win a match 3-2 or you can win a match 15-0. I mean, I would rather have the people see 15-0 because that means you might show up again next week and now I got a fan in you for life and we can talk and have conversations about can you beat the next guy even worse. So that's what I loved about it. I just didn't like just winning. I liked putting on a spectacle for people to see.
Is there any guys besides Kirkfleet that you're excited to compete
I
against?
think all the guys everybody's gonna show up in their own way and everybody's gonna try to win in their own way. Am I excited for all the new challenges, all the younger guys that have came through and are making a name for themselves? Of course, I think everybody would be great to wrestle, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be Gable. You can't stop it.
Brandon, can you explain the roadblocks that he had to go over to make this happen? Because he tried to do this a year ago. Can you explain from your perspective what had to happen for this to happen?
Yeah, I mean, basically it really came down to Gable making the decision that I want to come back and compete, because we talked about all the other opportunities that he's had. And knowing that in his heart he had the love and the excitement and the drive to come back and wrestle at the University of Minnesota, that was the most important thing. And then it was really a pretty simple process, just applying for an Olympic redshirt waiver. And I think people in the wrestling world all understand that. So it's not just us. There's other programs and fans and supporters that knew that this opportunity for Gable to come back this year was there, but that was kind of the basic steps.
Brandon, what does this do for your program recruiting-wise, where you can point to a guy like Gable who's been with the program and has come back?
Yeah, excuse me. This is really a big step for our program. Having a guy like him that's a legend that's coming back to compete, it just brings a different type of excitement. It reminds young wrestlers that you can come here and be the very best in not just the country but in the world. He's an example of that, and so it's really positive from that standpoint. And, I would say one thing that we talked about earlier, he talked about wrestling this Sunday. I would just make a small slip there. It wasn't Bucknell, we're wrestling Campbell. And Campbell brings in an All-American heavyweight who just won at the All-Star event. So what an amazing opportunity for fans and people in the state to come watch. If you've followed wrestling, you want to, everybody knows they want to watch this guy get on the mat and compete because he doesn't just wrestle, he puts on a show. But if you've never followed wrestling, like this is the chance. And you don't want to watch it on TV or streamed. You want to come into the event and actually witness it, be in the atmosphere, and watch him go out and compete against another awesome heavyweight. So we're really excited.
Gable, this is college wrestling. This is college. So people are going to ask, so where are you academically? What do you want to do with the studies? Or have you graduated? How many hours left?
Yeah.
Or anything like that?
I did graduate in 2022. I graduated with a business and communication degree, a double major. Just school was never a problem. Academics was never a problem. I went through it full head force, even though being a student athlete, it does get hard. But with the resources we have here, everything was just well tamed and put in the right direction. And right now, just taking graduate classes just to keep it rolling and keep getting through.
Gable, John Jones, MMA heavyweight champ.
Yes.
Mentioned you in
Yes.
a tweet afterward, saying you could be a potential champion at that sport.
Yes.
Does that sport interest you down the road at all?
It does interest me a lot. You know, being with John was definitely an honor. You know, John is the greatest fighter of all time, and if you know fighting and you know wrestling and you're a fight fan, you know John Jones. So having him, being able to be in that cage with him Saturday and seeing that belt live in person, you know, it definitely gave me that fire back. And he was probably one of the first ones to, after I told him no one really knew I was gonna go back to wrestling. I told him that I was going to, and he was he was really excited, and he just sat me down and told me to keep sticking to what you know best, and it'll lead you in the right direction. And so that really put a fire back in me. And Saturday, having him beat Stipe Miocic in the third round by knockout just put a big old burn in me that I wanted to be something great too.
Gable, you've called yourself a showman many times. Do you understand that even more now that you've been to the WWE and that type of thing, and why you are such a showman, and why you want to be such a showman?
Yeah, I just loved having people show up and watch me wrestle. I just liked seeing the crowd with tens of thousands of people, and it gave me that flutterness of, I don't even know if that's a word, but geez, it just gave me that the butterflies to go out there and just have a great time. And my thing was, like we talked about, it was never about winning, it was about dominating, and it's also about having that connection with the fans. And I feel like I have a connection with the state of Minnesota to have them show up and watch me wrestle. And that's all I ever wanted, was to just be a figure at the top and just to have the next cream of the crop come in and say, who can be Gable Steveson, but do it in their own way. And that's what I've always wanted to do.
Gable, with your addition, you guys are a pretty good team. What excites you about your teammates and this year's squad?
We got a lot of young guys. It's a whole new team since when I left. I mean, from Max McAnally being a freshman to we got Tommy Askey, who just transferred in, Tyler Wells, Cooper Flynn, who just came in, and Isaiah Salazar moving up to 197. We got a really great team, and I'm excited to see what we can put on the mat Sunday, but also when it comes to Big Ten season, going against Iowa and Ohio State and guys of those calibers. So I think we got the juice to get a title, and I got faith in it. Do we got to beat Penn State? Do we got to beat Iowa? Sure, but I'm always about winning. I'm not about losing.
Got time for one or two more?
How would you define success, not only for yourself, but also for the program here?
I think defining success we'll start with the program here. Just seeing the smile that I could put on everybody's face, especially you already smiling already. You see that? Seeing the smile I could put on the guy's face, especially seeing the smile I could put on people's face when I go to matches. You know, there's lines of kids that show up and their moms and dads are paying dollars for tickets just to watch a wrestling match. You know, growing up, you never thought wrestling would be even half of that, and we are so used to football teams getting 80,000 in the stands and basketball getting 30,000 at the Target Center to watch Anthony Edwards or Justin Jefferson gritty for whatever reason. But people show up and want to see great things, and my thing was I wanted to turn myself as a wrestler, which is not a mainstream sport. How can I become mainstream? And it was all the factor of just being me and having a good crowd around me and having good coaches and a good university and a lot of good people too around me. And if you don't have that foundation, it's really hard to have success. And you got to fail too. I failed. We've all failed. And if you don't fail, then you're not trying a risk. And I'm all about making risk and making jumps. And if you fail, you fail. If you don't, keep going.
One more if anyone's got it.
Coach, is there a challenge of integrating a high-profile athlete like Gable? Does the locker room just take to him, or do you have to just build up that trust with him?
Yeah, it's easy with a guy like Gable just because the way that he carries himself and he's been around the program this entire time. So he's been in, the guys see him working out, training with them, lifting, he's talking with the team, he's playing the ball game down there that we play before practice. And so it was simple. I remember when they made the announcement, we were walking by the locker room and it came out, the announcement did, and I heard people screaming in the locker room and they were excited. And some of the guys, they had no idea. And I'm surprised they weren't watching this guy wrestling folk style and wondering, why is this guy wrestling folk style matches? But yeah, when it got announced, they were really excited. So I think it's going to be simple. Again, he's a great leader to have him to be in front of the guys and kind of help them grow and just help them with the mental part of it. I mean, those are really invaluable lessons that he's going to help some of these guys attain goals that they probably wouldn't without having him in the locker room with them. So we're excited.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming. Thank you. Yes.
You're awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.